Hey guys, welcome back. It's Shay. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, we are up close and personal today because we're going to be doing a chit chat. Get ready with me. So today I kind of just want to talk to you guys about a nursing video, but also some beauty. I'll be mentioning I'm trying to start using some more products in my collection, but I'm going to tell you guys a time about when I cried on nursing orientation. I recently have been precepting someone, and it's been so nostalgic because my preceptee is exactly how I was on orientation, and it's so wow and opening to like watch and experience. So I figured why not sit down, grab some makeup brushes, grab a snack, I'll do a quick beat, and then we can just talk about how I was crazy. Not crazy, but just being a new grad nurse. It's a struggle out in these streets, y'all. It really is. So if you're interested, stay tuned. We are going to get right into it. Alright, so y'all know me. I talk a lot, so why not do my makeup while I'm talking? I'll try to mention the new products that I am using to you guys. So right now I'm going to start with the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. And I'm going to put that on my face, and then I'll just kind of tell you guys. So basically, if you guys don't know, I graduated in May of 2017, and I took my NCLEX in July, and I passed my NCLEX and started orientation in August. That doesn't make any sense. So, ew, this smells weird. So, starting orientation in August, at my hospital, I was hired on a tele-med-surg unit with a concentration in neuro and stroke. So when you get hired here, you have 12 weeks of orientation, but 2 of those weeks are your formal orientation. So you go basically through like the whole education, sitting in the classroom, talking about stuff that's important to nurses, blah blah blah, etc. So I got on the floor, I think it was the week of my birthday actually, is when I first started on the floor. And my start was great. I loved my preceptors. I had 2. One of my preceptors was younger like me. She was actually older than me, but she was more of like a new age kind of nurse. And then I also had a nurse that had been working there for 25 years. So the purpose of my manager was to kind of show me both sides, and I was kind of trying to grip from both sides of the precepting. So it was a very good experience. My first day on the floor, told y'all I can't talk and do makeup, but my first day on the floor, I was giving meds. I was, you know, doing stuff. And one thing I have to tell people, I'm going to have a whole story time on transitioning from tech. Oh my god, y'all, I was about to put eyelash glue on my lids. No. I'm looking for lid primer because I'm going to do the eyes first. But one thing is, when you are a tech before you are a nurse, and people find that out, your expectations are a lot greater. And I mean, it is. You're used to the hospital environment. But I don't think people understand, unless you've gone through this, it's very hard to transition from nurse to tech because it's a role reversal. You have to learn what task you have to delegate. You have to learn what you got to prioritize now. Everything changes. So while it is very easy to transition, it is also very hard. And I was doing pretty decent on orientation, but that was my biggest thing. I was trying to learn what I was supposed to do. Like, I would be in the room, not saying that nurses aren't supposed to do some of this stuff, because like, if I have time, I still to this day will help my techs clean a patient and do things like that, simply because it's all a teamwork and an effort. Or like, even like today, I'll be like, I'll tell my tech, like, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. Or if you do this, don't worry about 2 o'clock vitals, I got them. Like, you got to try to work as a team because they have just as many patients as you do. And I understand that because I was a tech. But the one thing, like, example, I be on orientation, I get in a room with a patient, I give meds, then they gotta use the bathroom, then they gotta do this, and they gotta do that. Mind you, I still have to go see 4 other patients. So it was a struggle for me to learn how to delegate and ask someone else to do it for me, because I'm like, okay, I'm already in the room, I can just do it. But at the same time, I got my patient next door saying I was supposed to get my meds 15 minutes ago, which is true, because I was too busy doing other tasks while I was already in the room. So you kind of got to learn what to prioritize, what to delegate, and things like that. So, by the way, guys, I'm about to use my soft plan palette. I'm doing something very simple today because I don't want this video to be too long for you guys. So I'm probably going to just do a simple brown type look, but I'm using soft glam. So, you know, I'm getting used to orientation. That was a struggle for me. So, one thing, like, I was progressing with orientation, and then I got to the second to last day of my orientation. So what happened was, I had been with my, like, new age preceptor for a while. We were there the whole weekend. I remember it Saturday, Sunday. And then, Monday turns around. And mind you, this is 3 in a row for me. I'm a new grad. I also work 40 minutes away from the facility. Not trying to, like, gain sympathy or anything like that. But I simply, now that I'm a nurse and I've worked for 2 years, I know I cannot do 3 in a row. And when I do it, I need to prepare myself greatly, because if I don't, it will be a crap show. So, I was there for day 3. Mind you, since my preceptor wasn't there anymore and I had my other preceptor, my whole assignment changed. I had to get to know these 5 other patients that I haven't had, and it just was like a little bit stressful for me because it's 3 in a row and doing all that. So, I'll never forget, my patient in one room had a potassium of like 6, which for my nurses, you guys know that's super high. Like, we're cardiac floor, we don't play that. So typical protocol, which I didn't know because I had not had a patient with this before. And I mean, I know stuff from nursing school, but when you get on the floor, it's a totally different thing. Nursing school prepares you for the NCLEX to pass. It does, but it does not prepare you for real world nursing. I can say my clinicals did help me a little bit, and being a tech did help me a little bit, but nah. So I'm like, alright, there's this all these orders pop into the computer. Mind you, I'm still struggling with trying to keep up with the orders, clearing my care compass, because it's just things as a new grad you're getting used to. So I'm still struggling with that. I show it to my preceptor, and my preceptor's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay, I gotta finish, you know, we gotta do this on the guy. We have to give him insulin, because if you guys, quick nursing tip, insulin pulls potassium out of the cells, and that's why you give IV insulin when someone's potassium is high. Then I had to give him K-Xylate, then we had to redraw potassium. It was all this stuff, and I'm still learning prioritization, so I'm in the room for an hour. Well, my preceptor, who's been there for a while, she's very like boom, boom, boom. Like, we gotta get stuff done. We can't be playing games. So it's like 10 o'clock. I haven't passed meds to any other patient. I'm still in the room with this patient. I had to put a new IV in him. She had to come help me with that. I had to do blood while I was doing the IV. Give the insulin IV push. Do this. And she's like, look. She pulls me to the side after we get out the room. She was like, I know you don't know the protocol, but she said it should not have took you that long to do all that in the room. So I'm now on day 3. Panicky me. Y'all know I have anxiety out the wazoo. Freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like not the optimal day. I'm already tired. Already been there for 3 days. So I'm just like, wow. Okay, she just basically told me I sucked. Which in no way she did that. It's just my perception because I'm a new grad and I'm stressing. So she's like asking me, she's like, are you ready to get off orientation? She was like, and she's just giving me examples. She's like, I oriented this person, I oriented that person, and by their last day, they were able to like do almost everything. And I'm just like, wow, I don't know if I'm ready to get off, you know. She gave me some doubt. And mind you guys, not only was I getting off orientation, I had one more orientation day, but my one more orientation day was with a preceptor that I've never had before. I don't know how that happened, but you know what? It was actually a good thing, because that preceptor I had on that day ended up teaching me so much, and she was actually the person who was there on my first day off of orientation, and she helped me a lot that day too. So sidebar, y'all, I'm going in with the LA Girl Pro Coverage Foundation. This is new for me. I'm using the color Toast. You guys know I'm a little bit darker, so I'm trying to use this foundation. It is a little bit deeper than what my usual tone is, but I think it'll fit perfect since I'm a little bit more tan. Y'all, I don't know how it took me 8 minutes to do the eyes, but okay. Let's go in with this foundation. So, she's like, are you sure you're ready to get off orientation, my other preceptor? And I'm like, I mean, I thought I was, but now that you're saying this. And she's like, you're supposed to be leading care. You're supposed to be on top of your order. You're supposed to be doing all this stuff by now. I should have pulled my hair back. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, she thinks I suck, which is not what she said, but you're a new grad, y'all. Y'all know it's a very stressful time. So basically, she was like, you know what we're going to do is we're going to try to get you more time on orientation. So she's like, I'm going to take you, I'm going to go talk to the educator of the floor. And then after talking to her, we're going to talk to the manager. We're going to see if we can get you more time because you need more time on the floor. So basically, she goes and gets the educator, and then the educator goes and talks to my manager. My manager at this time, y'all, is very strict, but she is a good strict. What did I just get on my face that is black? I don't even have anything black on my face. What the heck? But she's super strict. She was like, no, she's not getting extra time. Point blank period. She's ready. And she did have a point, because like she told me, she's like, Shay, if I would have gave you extra time, you're going to keep wanting extra time because you're never going to be fully prepared to get off orientation. You're never going to have every diagnosis and every patient that could possibly be admitted to that floor. But the purpose is to get you just generally competent and able to take care of these patients. And then if you don't know something, you find your resources, which was so true. But I'm still panicking because I feel like my preceptor just told me I suck. And I'm just like, oh my god. So we all go. My educator, we were getting a new educator. So there's 2 educators, my preceptor and me, in a med room. And every time I go into this med room, I think about this. And we're all in there talking. And then my one educator, she met me from the beginning. And she was so excited because I was a tech. And she said, you're going to catch on. And like literally on my first day, I was like signing off on competencies for the nurses on the floor and testing them on different things. So I was doing really good. So she's like, what the heck happened? Like, why are you not ready to come off orientation? Guys, I forgot to use my color corrector in the beginning, so I'm just going to throw a little bit on under my eyes to help with these dark circles. So she's like, why aren't you ready to come off orientation? I was like, you know what? I don't feel confident. I don't feel comfortable. You know, I think I still need time to kind of try to figure out how to lead the care of my patients. I have a pimple here. And I was just like telling her, like, I don't really feel that great. She was like, well, she's like, I've been checking on you all these weeks and you said you've been fine. And I'm like, yeah. But part of me wanted to tell her, yeah, I was fine, until my preceptor just really discouraged me. But it wasn't her fault. She was just trying to, you know, help me out and seeing that things weren't, I don't know. It was also a day where I had super critical patients, even for a med surg tele unit, and I think that was part of it. Like, my assignment has never been where I have 3 or 4 patients that I have to do all these things for, so I was just trying to, you know, get through that too. But we're all in there, and she's like, I thought you were ready and you said you were doing good all these weeks, and now you're on the second to last day and you don't want to come off. So then I just bust out crying, y'all. I just start crying, and I just start talking about, like, I really feel like I'm not ready for this. I was on orientation for this long. There were days when blah, blah, blah happened. I don't know what I was saying, y'all. But, like, I'm an ugly crier. Okay, I'm using my LA Girl Pro Concealer. I have Toffee and I have Fawn. I think I should use Fawn. Oh, this is Toffee. Which one is... I need a little bit. I think I'm going to use Toffee. Okay. So I'm just telling her how, like, I don't feel comfortable. And, like I said, it's even not fair because you guys are giving me a preceptor on my last day that I haven't had before. And then it's just a lot. And she's like, no, Shay. She's like, we will try to talk to the manager. We don't think she's going to give you extra time. But she's like, you need to have confidence in yourself. You're not going to know everything, like, the first day, and that's okay. Like, she was like, that's why there's people on the floor. And that's one thing I have to say too. Like, I know a lot of people go through this same thing that I went through. And one thing about it is when you get off orientation, you don't really realize how much support you have until you get off orientation. Like, I'm telling y'all, that day that I worked, I had my last day of orientation, and the first day off of orientation went very smooth. And not only was I able to, like, ask people questions, but people would literally come up to me at all times and ask me, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need something? Do you need me to do something for you? Do you need to learn something? Is there something you don't understand? Did you give all your meds? Do you understand what you're giving this for? People were very supportive, and that's very important in, you know, orientation and being oriented on a new floor. You need to make sure you have that support system, and if they don't give you that support on that first day, then there's a problem. And I'm working on a med-surg unit, y'all, so this applies to even critical care and things like that too. I just wanted to let, like, new grads know, nobody is ever going to be totally ready to come off orientation, and everybody is always going to be wanting more time. But the fact is, I don't want to say the quicker, because you need your orientation time, but your standard orientation time should be your standard orientation time. And when it's time to get off, not the quicker you get off, but the easier you let yourself take over your patients and do their care, in the long run, you'll realize how beneficial that was. So, like, my first day, I'm fine. I'm, like, putting IVs in. I'm drawing blood. I'm hanging 3 and 4 meds. I'm calling pharmacy for compatibility. It was, you know, a busy day for me, but I was able to get all my charting done. I was able to, you know, ask people for help. And like I said, even, like, my last day, by the way, guys, I'm using Milani's, Earth Glow for a bronzer. It's a really good bronzer for this time of year for me. But even, like, knowing I had that support on the floor just made it feel so much better for me. And I didn't even realize, sometimes you don't realize how much you know until you're on your own. And also, you can kind of go at your own pace. Not saying you can't, like, you shouldn't prioritize, because you still need to prioritize and do stuff like that. But, you can kind of, like, how I was telling you guys, it was like 10 o'clock. And my preceptor was like, you haven't did anything. And then it was just weird for me, because my other preceptor would be like, look, we got to take care of the priority stuff first. Whoever don't get their meds, they'll get them when they get them. And let's just, like, you know, let's focus on what the problem is at the moment. So I also was learning from 2 different learning styles. So even being able to do my own thing off of orientation kind of gave me a better outlook to say, because I wasn't being pressured and I wasn't trying to, you know, not look dumb. I was just doing my own thing and just making sure my patients were being taken care of. So that's basically to say, for all my new grads out there that are about to get off orientation, and I even told my preceptee this, it's going to be a scary moment. You're not going to want to get off. But the quicker you get off and start trying to get into your own routine, it will be, you know, more beneficial for you in the long run. Because then you'll be able to establish your own routine quicker and things like that. I'm going in, guys, with the Peachy Love palette from Anastasia as a blush. I love these tones for the... this brush really ain't picking it up. Let me get a different brush. This is the brush I usually use for blush. Oh my gosh, it's so ratchet, guys. But the quicker, like, you get off orientation, the quicker you can establish your own routine, the quicker you can kind of assess and know what's critical and know what can, like, wait for a minute and things like that. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be completely ready. But if you keep asking for time, and your manager is one of those people who will give you time, then you're never, ever, ever going to, like, get off orientation. And that's what it is. Yo, I went so ham with that blush. It's not even funny. But, I don't know, guys. That's all. That's really what I have to tell people. And I know people that came after me who actually got more time on orientation because our management changed and everything like that. And you know what? It's okay. You know, they had their extra time, and I know they feel more comfortable. And I'm looking like I wish I would have got extra time, but I didn't. But everything happens for a reason. And, that moment right there, I think actually made me not only a better nurse, but it also made me a willing candidate for, like, precepting. Like, if you guys don't know, I started precepting probably 9 months to a year after I was on my own. And I like freaked out because when we got a new manager, she gave me a preceptee, and I told her, I emailed her back and I said, you not only been on the floor by myself for this long. And she was like, really? Because when I see you like in rounds and stuff, it doesn't seem like that. Sidebar, guys, again, I'm going in with the Milani Intense Bronze Glow and Sun-Kissed Bronze. This bronzer is huge. I really hope it looks good. I hope it works. But she was like, you know what, I didn't even realize that you've only been on that floor for this little bit of time. And she said, you know what, she was like, the way you carry yourself and even how you take care of your patients, she said, I think you should still consider, you know, precepting. Ooh, guys, it looks good. And I'm like, okay. So I just did it, and part of that, like, that experience I had really helped me be a more, not even nurturing preceptor, because you still have to be, like, when you're a preceptor, it's like a mom. You have to nurture, and you have to, like, protect, but you also have to, how my other preceptor did, like, if they're not ready to do something, you gotta tell them, look, you're not doing that today, or we gotta do this before we start doing this, because there's things going on, and it needs to get done. So, it even, like, opened my eyes, and it also, having a fresh off new grad as a preceptor is also a good thing. Guys, my shirt is white, and I just looked down. I'm gonna have to, like, brush it off. But it just helps, like, the whole, I think, precepting system. So even though I was, like, freaking out, I'm like, I don't want to precept. Like, I've only been here for a year. It actually ended up being very beneficial, not only for me, but for my orientee that I had. Alright, guys. We're going to finish these eyes, and I'm pretty much, I think, done this makeup look. Oh my gosh, my eyeliner just smudged. But I just wanted this video to kind of be for my new grad nurses, just to let them know that it's you're never, ever, 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 ever going to feel ready. But whether or not you know, the moment you get off orientation and you get on that floor by yourself, sis, it's a whole, like, you're going to be like, wow, I didn't know I knew this. I didn't know I knew this is what you do when this happens. It's just, like, really the moment. And for all those people who say, like, nurses eat their young, like, if you're doing that and you're a preceptor, you need to get it together, because that is not the way to go about precepting. You can correct, but you also need to be as, like, nurturable and just willing to teach. And teaching is not always learned through mistakes, because this is people's lives out here. Like, we can't just be letting, you know, preceptees do things and watch them do it and then watch a patient crash. Like, I've heard horror stories about that, and I still don't understand the mechanism of that. Like, that is bullying, in my opinion. If you're doing that, you don't need to be a preceptor. Like, if you don't feel like teaching, just say that. That's not the way people learn. I don't care what anybody says, but this is just, I guess, an inspirational word out there to you guys who are getting ready to start your first nursing job. Don't feel like you're ready. Don't feel like you want to come off orientation. Like, you can do it. You wouldn't have passed the NCLEX. You wouldn't have got a job. You wouldn't have been on orientation if you weren't capable of, you know, making these moves and doing these things that you are doing. So, just get with it and let it move. I'm going to go in, guys, with my Vegas Nay lashes in Classic Charm. Last, I was going to use the Kiss 11 lashes, but I cannot find my pack of Kiss 11s. I'm going to have to go to Ulta or Walmart. And you guys know, me and lashes are like, oh. But I just learned this new trick where I put on some mascara before I do the lashes, and it helps. So, I'm going to try to do it on camera, you know, see if I'm, like, competent enough like I was on orientation. And if it works for me, then it works. And if it doesn't, we just gonna scoot through this little clip and keep it moving. But I do encourage people who are also new grads, find out when you can be a preceptor, because it really is it's not even a learning moment for only you, for your preceptee. I mean, it's also a learning moment for yourself. And it also encourages you to take on leadership and even as a young nurse, that's important. Like, I feel like young nurses, we think we don't know and we think we can't teach, but sometimes you need that fresh, just learning brain to teach another fresh, just learning brain, instead of people who have been doing it for years. And it also is good. I know a lot of people say, oh wow, you had 2 preceptors. I don't know if that was a good thing, but I think it was, because when you learn from 2 different styles, or you learn from somebody that's been there for 25 years and then someone that's been there for 4 years, it helps to kind of let you see both sides and learn the best from both worlds and learn the worst from both worlds too. Because there's some stuff I watch my preceptors do, not saying that they did anything that was endangering or anything like that, but it's just some things you learn. Like, you learn what's going to be your style and you learn what's not going to be your style. So it's just all a learning curve, and nobody learns overnight and nobody is like perfect. I still have nurses that have been on the floor. Actually, I want to tell you guys, my preceptor a few weeks ago actually asked me to help her with the blood protocol a couple of weeks back, because she said she has not really hung blood since we got this new protocol where, like, you actually have to verify it in the computer, and it's not just, oh guys, my lashes actually cooperated while I was on YouTube. This is great. So nursing is just a learning experience for everybody. And once everyone learns that, and then people learn to work as a team, it makes it so much easier for life. Like, if you can't work as a team player, I don't know how you will survive in nursing, because nursing is literally a team sport. And, like, you can't make enemies. Everybody's not going to get along. We're all human. And you can't be afraid to ask for help. Like, even my preceptor, who's been there for 25 years, was willing to ask me, her previous orientee, who was so incompetent, and we actually talked about that moment while I was helping her hang the blood. She was like, it's so funny. She was like, a couple years ago, I was not even confident in you coming off orientation, and now you're over here teaching me how to hang blood. So it's just, you know, nursing is all a learning curve, and we gotta help each other out in these streets, because every day is not the same, and everything is not the same every day. It's constantly changing, and that's pretty much it. So I just feel like I rambled so long for you guys, but I told y'all this was a chit chat, get ready / story. So y'all knew what I was about to do. Y'all know how these get. But if I didn't mention any, I try to only mention like staple makeup products or stuff that I was totally blown away by, or stuff that was new. But if there's anything that you guys are wondering that I'm using, just comment down below in the comment box and I will respond. So I'm just getting this quick lippy on. And y'all already should know what I'm putting on my lips. I actually was supposed to try the FNP-C today. Uncuffed and unveiled together, and then I just seen my beeper and I was like, I'm about to throw that on, and I'm probably going to throw a gloss over it later. This color is nice, but in the summer, especially with me being a little bit tanner, it can get a little pasty on me. So it's important that I use a liner with it, but I did use my liner, but it still is looking a little bit pasty. I use cork. So I'm just going to go in a little bit more with cork. Alright guys, I'm not going to keep you any longer. So we talked about our story time about me getting off orientation and crying. And like I said, the main things I kind of want people to take from this video is, 1, you're never going to be ready as a new grad, but the sooner you get off, the sooner you get to get your own technique. 2, there's always help on the floor, and if there's not help on your floor, you need to go to your manager or administrator, because that's not right. You're a new grad, you need your resources. And 3, to nurture our new nurses, just like make sure we're teaching them and showing them the way, but also we're being like not stern, but you're making sure that things are done safe wise and they're learning the right techniques. And if you are a new grad, meaning you have gotten off of orientation within like the last 6 months to a year, don't be afraid to find out about your precepting policies. Maybe you might be able to, you know, each one teach one. Get to see what your policies are on that, because I find, and I'm not even speaking on myself, even me asking other nurses on the floor, sometimes I learn a lot from people who've only been on the floor for 6 months to a year versus people that have been there for a while. And sometimes they're more approachable because you just know, like, you're both on this new journey, so you're like, okay, let me ask them first because maybe they know, or things like that. So guys, I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for tuning into this Chit Chat Get Ready with me. I will see you guys in my next video.